All he needed was an ambulance.
Sit up! Sit up! Now!
They treated my son like he was an animal.
Earl Moore Jr. was having a medical emergency. The 2 EMTs called to take him to the hospital are now accused of dragging him, strapping him so tight to the stretcher that he suffocated.
They killed that young man, and they have to pay.
The Shade Room uncovering new details about these EMTs and the lie that police say they told to cover their tracks. I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. Earl Moore Jr. was 35 years old. He was healthy. He biked to work every day as a longtime manager at a McDonald's in Springfield, Illinois. But he was also on an alcohol detox, which is why police were called to his home December 18, 2022. He was hallucinating, going through withdrawals, but no one, not even the responding police officers, expected the 2 EMT workers who showed up to help him to treat him the way they did.
Earl? It's the police. You called us, my man?
The body camera footage is disturbing. It was around 2 a.m. Springfield police, they respond to a call to check on Earl Moore Jr. He wasn't well. You can see him tossing and turning in bed, breathing heavily. He wasn't responding even to simple questions.
You know who the president is? We're going to have an ambulance come check you out, my man. Make sure you're okay.
But that call for an ambulance cost him his life. 50-year-old Peter Cadigan and 40-year-old Peggy Finley were the 2 EMTs who showed up about 15 minutes later. They worked for Lifestar Ambulance. Finley walks into the room, her arms folded, and seemed to be annoyed.
Earl, sit up. Sit up.
She throws her notepad and pen on the bed. She drags him by the arm across the floor.
Sit up.
My man.
What happened? Stupid.
Stop.
Sit up. Sit up. Now. I am not playing with you tonight. Sit up. What is your birthday? You're going to have to walk because we ain't carrying you.
So let's get up on your feet.
Finley never takes his vitals. She stands there and watches.
I am seriously not in the mood for this dumb.
You can walk. Come on.
The officers step up and attempt to get him outside to the stretcher. They are met by the 2nd EMT, Peter Cadigan.
There we go.
You can hear the Velcro straps adjusted tight around his body. He's placed face down.
They treated him like a criminal. Literally, they slammed him down on the stretcher, put his hands behind his back on the stretcher as if they were putting handcuffs on him.
Teresa Haley is the Illinois president of the NAACP.
When he got to the hospital, they tried to do CPR. They could not revive him. Earl, as his family calls him, was dead.
Did this necessarily surprise you in Springfield?
No, it did not. Springfield is a very racist town, even though we've worked forever to change that.
State Attorney Dan Ride and the Illinois State Police immediately launching an investigation and charged both Finley and Cadigan with first-degree murder. This after the autopsy revealed that Moore died from compressional and positional asphyxia due to prone face-down restraint on a paramedic transportation cot. That means he suffocated to death. His mother and sister joined renowned attorney Ben Crump for a news conference last month.
My son was clearly struggling, and he needed help. He needed emergency medical attention. Instead, these workers treated him like he wasn't even human.
I hope that these people are punished to the fullest extent of the law for torturing and killing my brother.
And on January 31st, shocking new revelations about Finley's call to the hospital after they loaded him into the ambulance.
St. John's, go ahead. We are currently inbound to your facility. On board, I have a 35-year-old male coming from home, coming to you for evaluation of some alcohol withdrawals. Patient is slightly combative and confused. I'm not messing with getting vitals because I'm not going to poke the bear.
You can hear her say she didn't take Moore's vitals because she didn't want to, quote, poke the bear, but she later told police a different story, that she had taken his vitals. That allegedly wasn't true. Prosecutors also say that she called one of the officers that night to manipulate his memory of what happened. That officer in court paperwork said, quote, "She informed me that St. John's Hospital was possibly going to want a statement from me about the incident, and to ensure I told them that Moore was responsive while we were at the residence. She also told me to ensure that Moore was a different patient from the time that he was picked up by EMS to when they arrived at the hospital," end quote. She also reported that Moore was combative, but prosecutors say the video does not lie. He was in a confused state of medical distress, unable to walk, and in desperate need of specialized care.
The incline of the gurney changes your windpipe, and his fate at that point was sealed. By the time he got to the hospital, there was no saving the life of this good man.
Finley also texted her fellow EMTs, quote, "My F-up was not having police flip him over on his back and transporting him prone. And that was my F-up. I take complete responsibility for that," end quote. Both Finley and Cadigan pled not guilty in court. Finley's attorney actually told us, quote, in a statement, that "My client has entered a plea of not guilty. It's our full intention to take this matter to trial, and we believe, based upon the law and the facts, that we should prevail."
I mean, it's barbaric. We're going to make sure they are never going to be able to forget the name of Earl Moore Jr. Never. Never.
We did reach out to Lifestar Ambulance for a comment. They have previously denied any statement about this. Now, prosecutors also say that second EMT, Peter Cadigan, lied to police about never receiving training on patient positioning in his 30-year career as an EMT. But prosecutors say that was a lie because he did receive training 6 months prior. Now, both suspects were in court on Monday for a pretrial hearing to get their bonds lowered. The judge rejected that. They still remain in jail right now on $1 million bonds, and they're due back in court March 20th. For TSR Investigates, I'm Justin Carter.